A very good evening, viewers. You're watching South Speaks with me, Deepak Bopanna. Through the next half an hour, we'll take you through all the top stories that's making headlines in the southern part of India. First up, we have some breaking news coming in from the state of Kerala. Here, the Kerala Health Department has sounded an alert in the state following reports of Mpox outbreaks. This is, of course, in various other countries. Now, the state of Kerala here has gone into high vigilance mode with surveillance teams in place at all airports now. They're going to be screening passengers arriving from affected nations. Anyone arriving from countries where Mpox has been reported must and will undergo screening now at the airports in Kerala. This is the latest that we are picking up. Now, we should note that especially in some of the African countries, Mpox has become a big reason to worry. Now, while many experts say that this particular virus, of course, could really prove to be much more lethal than COVID-19 itself, right now the Kerala state government taking all precautions ahead of the other states as well. Now, moving on to the top story of the day. Bengaluru, once again celebrated as, India's tech hub, is reeling and grappling with escalating traffic problems. BJP MP Tejasvi Surya has echoed probably the sentiments of a lot of people living in Bengaluru. It's the growing frustration over the city's deteriorating traffic conditions. Now, it's been pointed out time and again that even on Sundays, traffic has become a menace. And on weekdays, it's even worse. With the addition of course, thousands of new vehicles compounding the ever-growing issue. Now, to give you a statistical understanding view of the issue here, from April 2023 to March 2024, Bengaluru has registered 6.37 lakh new private cars and two-wheelers, a staggering increase compared to 4.37 lakh during the previous year. This surge has led to a 19% rise in two-wheeler registrations, 340% rise in new private cars, resulting in over 1 crore vehicles right now plying in the Bengaluru roads. Now, despite the ongoing challenges, it's of course crucial to recognize that these issues have persisted across various administrations. The city's infrastructure has not really kept pace with its rapid growth, leading to pothole-related accidents, inadequate public transport options as well. Meanwhile, the city's public transport systems, including BMTC buses and the metro, are more often than not overcrowded. And alternatives like, ride-hailing services often fail to meet this demand. On the other hand, you have the condition of the roads, which is in a deplorable state. Potholes and encroachments, of course, make it really difficult for people to use them. The absence of pedestrian-friendly infrastructure further here only enhances the problem. As Bengaluru here continues to crumble under the weight of its own success, the big question today we ask is, how long will leaders continue to be divided by party lines, and when is this apathy going to end? That's the question we ask. We have a panel of guests who will be, of course, joining us today to try and decipher if there is a solution, or is it just going to be political statements that's going to be made time and again. GS Prashant of the BJP is with us today, Dhruv Jatti of the Congress party, Shailesh Sinha, he is the CEO of the Traffic People Foundation, Priya Chetty-Rajagopal, Managing Partner, Multiversal Advisory, all of them today here with us. Let me open this up with Dhruv. Dhruv, of course, you represent the government here. Big promises have been made by Mr. D.K. Shivkumar. He's spoken time and again of brand Bengaluru. Today, I'm not going to get too much into politics. I'm going to talk, however, about the promises that have been made, not just by the Congress, by the BJP, by the JDS, and how many of them have been fulfilled. And today, everyone watching this, viewers, and of course the numbers are flashing on your screens for you to be a part of this show and tell us how you feel, because probably many of them are not able to get back home to spend time with their family because they're spending most of the time on the streets of Bengaluru because of this traffic menace. So Dhruv, what's the solution at hand? Is there a plan? Is there a strategy to ease this traffic problem? Because it's been over a year that you've been governing, your party has been governing Karnataka, but things are not really improving on the ground.
Yeah, good evening, Deepak. I'd request you to give me a few minutes to explain the entire facade over here. So to begin with, yes, we must look at this as a bipartisan issue, and this requires us to cut across political lines, just as you said. and the betterment of Bengaluru is beyond a political brawl because it also affects the situation of the city's socio-economic development and the betterment on the whole. So now coming to the solutions, there has been a proposal from Deputy Chief Minister Shri Kumar Ji to open a free signal corridor in 17 locations. There was a traffic analysis study which was conducted right after we came into power in the state, and that states that the 4 to 6 lanes that we have in the city are not sufficient, and we need to move fast to 8 lanes, and by 2040 we require 12 lanes. So keeping this in mind, even a recent double-decker flyover was opened at the Silk Board metro station, and there is a vision to make sure that more such flyovers are opened at all metro points. And the government has also made sure to take the consent of MLAs in Bengaluru city, irrespective of political party lines, to get their nod for the 18.5 kilometer Esteem Mall to Silk Board Junction tunnel, and also which the east corridor, which is the KR Puram and Mysore Road corridor, which will be taken up as well. So no doubt, Deepak, today the entire situation is an apathy for commuters, and I don't second that. It's a matter of fact, you and me, we both face it on a regular daily basis, but there is vision for Bengaluru. And Deepak, Bangalore did not become an IT hub or the Silicon Valley of India 10 or 20 years ago. It happened in 1980. So somewhere we have gone wrong in terms of the policy making. But today, under Shri D.K. Shivkumarji, we have a vision for brand Bengaluru. He has a plan put across, and it's important that as public, we support this initiative and we carry forward and make sure that we solve the socio-economic issues of Bengaluru and the apathy of commuters reduces in the city.
Okay, Dhruv, very quickly, I'm going to take a caller because, like I mentioned, of course, we want to hear from the people today because they are the ones who go through this problem, and I'm inviting people from across the country to probably, join in, because it's not just an issue that relates to increasing vehicles in all metro cities is causing problems for traffic. Bengaluru, of course, is facing the heat to a large extent. Shruti is joining us now. Shruti, what do you have to say? Are you from Bengaluru, and what are the problems you face?
Yes, I am from Bengaluru. I stay in Rajarajeshwari Nagar, and I work in Manya Tech Park, which is in Hebbal.
Yeah.
It's a good 28 kilometers from my place, and in Rajarajeshwari Nagar. So Bangalore roads are not bad just in the CBD or just in some places, just all over. For an example, we have a 3-kilometer stretch from my house, and my house is on the main road, to let you know. My house to Rajarajeshwari Nagar gate. It's just a 3-kilometer stretch, and it takes me a good 25 minutes for me to cross that 3 kilometers because of the fact that they've barricaded one of the sites to go ahead and do a development or a flyover or something. And that's been going on for the last 2.5 years, sir.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely, now there is no progress at all. I don't see any progress for the last 1.5 years.
And that's unpardonable, Shruti, because, that's unpardonable. And I think you make a very valid point. Many of the traffic issues, like Dhruv was pointing out, new ideas, new flyover, more lanes to come up in Bengaluru. Now, this is something for the future of Bengaluru. But the present of Bengaluru, a lot of areas, you can fix them by fixing minute issues. And you pointed out a very interesting point, and especially considering the length of travel that you do every day, I'm surprised you were able to be back home to actually comment on the show today. And I'm thanking you for that opinion. I'm going to go across to Prashant. Prashant, I'll have to ask you today, let's not get too political like I was saying, Dhruv. Shruti was just pointing out a project that was started 2.5, 3 years ago. That means it was started during the time of the BJP. So that's why I say let's not take pot shots here. Because every government here has not really done the best it could to fix these problems. Be it the flyover that runs across Koramangala, which is still pending. There were issues as far as tender, so many concerns. Even now, the traffic is a menace there because you have work that is going on. If you do put a time frame and finish work on time, there would be 40% of the roads that would be better for the commuters to use. Either the condition of the roads are bad or there is construction work that's happening in the name of development. You're putting people through agonizing pain each and every day. A project that will take 6 months goes on for 6 years. Prashant.
Deepak, firstly, I completely empathize and sympathize, because I have to use both the words, because we know what it takes to go from one point of the city to another. We have all faced this. But if you look at the issue on a larger level, instead of having grand plans on paper saying, I will transform Bangalore into something else in 20 years, 25 years. Yes, good one. Good if the plans are implemented and all of us would support in the endeavor. But on the ground, you have to have people working. You need to have people working. You need to have civic agencies together and to draw out proper plans, which is not happening in the city of Bangalore. Because ever since this government has taken over, I'm not again politicizing the issue. I'm trying to point out that the internal tussle to say who's a better administrator between the CM and the DCM and other ministers, the Bangalore citizens are losing out because the DCM, who's holding many other important portfolios, has not been able to devote enough time for Bangalore, and Bangalore needs a dedicated minister to solve the problems.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
considering his
Okay.
other things,
Now,
it's not possible.
but tell me one thing. Under the BJP, the Bangalore Development Ministry itself didn't exist. You think the Chief Minister could have done a justifiable job there? Because the Chief Minister was holding that portfolio all along. This is the Deputy Chief Minister here at least. Now, a Chief Minister has to run the entire state, manage the entire state, look into all ministries. So if that is your rationale that you're drawing in, how does it hold good during the 4 years of the BJP? The chief ministers held that portfolio. You were not even willing to give that away to any of the cabinet ministers.
Deepak, it's not about which minister handles. What I'm pointing out is, in the present 1.5 years of this tussle,
No,
there's
you
not a
said
single development
that
which is
DK
happening in
Shivkumar
Bangalore.
does not have the time to attend to Bengaluru because he's a
Deepak,
deputy chief
you
minister,
look-
has water
Deepak,
resources, he's not able to
Deepak,
put time. So I'm saying, going by that
Deepak, let me
rationale,
answer.
going
Deepak,
by
let me
that
answer.
rationale, then it didn't happen during the time of the BJP. Okay, very quickly. Okay, I'll give you
Deepak,
time to
let me-
answer,
let me
Prashant. We
answer.
have another
Let me
caller.
answer.
Ganesh from Bengaluru is with us. Let me take in an opinion from a caller. I'll come back to you. Ganesh, go ahead.
Hello. Hello. I am also staying in the same Rajarajeshwari Nagar, Rajarajeshwari Nagar of Bangalore. So I also wanted to tell the same issue. Like, hello. Yeah. Especially in the mornings, every 5 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear
see
you. Quickly,
that
Ganesh.
Rajarajeshwari Nagar arch. In the traffic, because of that construction work which has been taken up almost more than 3 years, it is actually a barrier for every people who wants to travel from Haranagar towards that other area. Every 5 minutes you can see more than 1,000 people crossing that road. Since this work is incomplete from last 3 years, we are suffering like anything.
Yeah.
These are some.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Valid point. We heard that from Shruti as well. Mahesh, another caller is with us. Mahesh, go ahead.
What I'm hearing from a lot of people is about, whether it's the BJP or whether it's the, the Congress, who comes back and says we will be building, multi or, X number of bridges and all other stuff. But the simple solution for this problem is, even at this point of time, you have close to around 20 to 30 million square feet of office spaces. And there is another proposal for another 20 to 30 million of office spaces, which means, right, for every 1,000 square feet you give a car, look at the number of cars which will be in the roads, right? Why is the government not putting a restriction on the cars being brought into these the tech parks, which typically is the problem?
Yeah, probably that's a good idea. And we've seen, of course, many of the IT companies or big giants do provide cab services, and eventually, of course, that reduces the burden on the roads. But many of them, of course, are opting against that as well. So that is a very valid point that you mentioned, Mahesh. We'll, of course, take that across Priya there. Priya, various other countries which have, issues, especially in their prime cities, deal with traffic in various ways. One is, of course, improve infrastructure. Other is improve the existing infrastructure. And some of the ideas like Mr. Mahesh was pointing out, like, there are options of odd even rule. There are options of mandating that, there are certain amount of cars already. Until certain amount of cars are disposed of, you cannot purchase new cars. Different ideas are adopted by various countries. How do you think where do you think the real solution lies for Bengaluru?
Deepak, with respect, I think some of the questions or some of the things that have been raised here are piecemeal. you have to look at urban planning, you have to look at transportation planning, and you have to look at traffic control. But first and foremost, you have to have a focus from the government to want to definitely address the issue. And we are 20 years too late, but we don't have a choice. We're going to have to do this right now. Public transport is required. You need to have a mayor for the city. You need our ward committee back where we can try and work at least at a local level. The mayor is what is needed in Bangalore. And that's something that at least has a legitimate control over the city and has a different kind of ownership. It's not something which is which is piecemeal. I love the idea of brand Bengaluru, but I'm saying in terms of where it all knits together, I think I have as a citizen of the city, there are times when I'm very hopeful and very optimistic. But right now, with all the change of government, everybody says the same thing. I'm right now, a dispirited, pessimistic person who says, really, so what's next? And when will you really start to put things on ground and start? Where's the conversation between the parastatals? Where is even if you look at, where is the RTO talking to the police? Do we know how many cars are registered? And you have forgotten some very, very important vehicular or a transportation medium in this entire conversation, which is you've forgotten about the pedestrians. I am so sore about the fact that we just will ignore pedestrians till they will, literally die on the roads. We try. I try and walk wherever possible. I know it's tough. I've come back from UK and Switzerland where I have seen the number of options which are there for walking. And you take those distances because it's easier to walk, or there are connectivities.
Absolutely. Priya, and the biggest concern is people who could walk to their office, who live close by, maybe a kilometer or two, cannot walk because either the footpaths are in poor conditions or, there are street hawkers, of course, who've taken over footpaths and there are encroachments all over. So they do not have an option but to take their vehicle. So that is where it's a collective effort of each and every MLA, any government that comes in to fix these sort of issues, which could predominantly fix about 40% of the problems.
Yes, we are restating the problem in 20 different ways at this point. I'm asking you as a consumer and as a citizen of the city who loves this city, I'm asking you, why can't we all, it's been done to death. Buses, I think, have improved a lot. And I think suburban rail is taking such a backseat. There's no ownership for the fact that this can do a phenomenal job in transforming Bangalore. Metro is being focused on, but the delays are incredibly long.
Absolutely.
Right? The fact that we need to have a closer inner city where people's commuting time is less is lost. Pedestrians, you can even forget about them. But what we love is expensive metros and expensive tunnels.
Yes.
So you can see I'm normally a very optimistic person about Bangalore. Today, I'm just saying, I'm just tired of discussions. Today, all our esteemed panelists have a point of view, and I'm sure that they have a focus. I'm asking you, stop restating the problem. Please state a solution and state it clearly. And
absolutely, Priya. I'll take that across to Dhruv. But before that, we have a lot of callers, Priya, who want to really share their opinions and probably their agony of being on the streets of Bengaluru. We have Sudarshan from Bengaluru, Sushma, and also some of Lucknow. We'll first go across to Sudarshan from Bengaluru joining us. Sudarshan, go ahead.
Sir, good evening. I'm a resident of Kavala-Bhairasandra.
Yeah.
The connecting roads for Kavala-Bhairasandra is Dillur Main Road and Devagowda Road. Just it's about to clear 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers, it takes more than 1 hour. Absolutely chaos, especially between 9 to 12 and evening between 3:30 to 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Till then,
absolutely. And is it a new phenomenon? Is there any sort of work that's happening on that stretch? Okay. I think we've lost there. We'll also go across to PH Sharda from New Delhi as well joining us. Sharda, go ahead.
This problem which I'm finding in Bengaluru is quite typical of other mega cities which are there in the country. So the problem is common. At the stage of planning of a particular road or a flyover or any such diversion or free flow of traffic being planned, the traffic police, the town planner, the architects must sit together and they should be bound to ensure that their new flyovers, etc., so far for the sake of development, so-called development, does not lead to any jam which is more than 5 minutes of time to be taken. That assessment has to be done. Second solution is, in all the municipal laws, there is a precondition in the entire country, including the center and the states. That provision says that the load-bearing capacity of the land must be assessed, and only then development should go accordingly. But that is never done. So if you are going to load a 50 or 100 square kilometer area with twice the vehicles and twice the population, obviously this has to be
answer shots as well. Mangesh from Bengaluru is with us as well. Osama from Lucknow. I'll go across to Mr. Osama very quickly. Keep your answer short, please. I'll have to go back to some of the guests as well.
Good evening, sir. Hello?
Mr. Osama, go ahead. Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Mandated.
Okay, we seem to have an audio issue with Mr. Osama from Lucknow. Then we'll try and fix that. Mangesh from Bengaluru. Mangesh, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I'm a Bangalore resident since more than 20 years, and I stay close to India Nagar, C.V. Raman Nagar. So I can see multiple patches where if we apply common sense, the traffic can be eased. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying
yes,
is...
we can hear you. Go ahead.
Everyone, good evening, everyone. I stay in Bangalore more than 20 years, and I can see there are a couple of patches, multiple places in Bangalore where common sense can be applied. Why the bus has to be stopped below the Bengaluru metro station? Actually, there are a couple of buses, and it is a chaotic situation early in the morning. Outside buses also comes actually. So that near Pai layout, that stop has to be removed.
I think that's a very valid point. Again, using some common sense, fixing some issues can really, fix the traffic problems. Thank you for that opinion, Mr. Mangesh. I'll go across to Mr. Shailesh Sinha. Today, when we hear the callers, it seems like, the solution is not too far away. We don't need those big double-decker flyovers immediately to fix the current problem. Probably fixing roads, desilting our drains so that when it rains, it's not flooded. Because we, more often than not, instead of the traffic police manning, traffic signals or traffic, they are, declogging the road or the drain. And we've seen those pictures in the last couple of days, Mr. Sinha. And now, you have people come and tell you buses don't stop where they need to. Flyovers construction is not completed. These are the reasons why the menace is so big and, it's not being, nipped at the bud.
See, first of all, I would like to, mention that it's ironical that we are talking about the city which is called as IT city of India. IT is all about solution providing, right? And that city is seeing this kind of problem, which is called as traffic menace, traffic jams and traffic snarls, right? And it can only be corrected in one way, that the person, the population needs to be responsible for their own moves. See, I'll tell you how the things work. Things work internationally also when people are using more of public transport. Comprehensive policy sets needs to be taken into consideration, where private usage of your vehicles should be discouraged, and public transport needs to be coming into places. Number one. Number two, when we are seeing 340% of increase in personal car registration in 1 year, that simply means people are also not contributing towards the solution. People are adding on to the problem, right? If I'm saying it's jam and I'm in the jam, that simply means I am also jam. I am also part of jam. I am also contributor. So it's all about not only political. Yeah. I am always of the opinion that political speakers should not be brought into these kind of debates, because they only blame and claim. That's it. End of the day, the thing what you've done, that encouraging public to get into the conversation of coming up with the solution is the best thing, and good experts needs to be there, but not political faces, right? Because they're only claiming.
At the end of the day, the people vote our political representatives, and they are the ones who can make that change, Mr. Sinha. I understand that, the political blame game always continues. But, me or you cannot fix this issue. The exchequer is with the political party, with the government. They are the ones who can spend the taxpayers' money to fix problems. Absolutely. If it is a situation where people who are given their own taxes to fix their road, I'm sure the roads would have been much better.
Absolutely. 12,000, almost 12,000 rupees is the crores is the revenue which is the target of Bangalore. 60% of Karnataka's revenue comes from Bangalore. So all things depends on politicians, but understand 75 years done with our independence. Still we are fighting for Beti Bachao Beti Padhao. We are fighting
absolutely, Mr. Sinha. Unfortunately, of course, we had to accommodate a lot of callers as well, so we couldn't, of course, have too much time to give all of y'all to express yourselves quite clearly, but we've got a gist of things. On one hand, of course, the Congress has made it very clear that they're working towards a comprehensive strategy to fix the traffic problems in the city. The BJP is assuring that they'll not politicize it, though there was a lot of politics that came in midway through that conversation, and we've heard some opinions from our viewers as well. Let's hope that in the coming days, some of the issues that can be fixed immediately are done at the earliest so that the people don't have to go through the problems that they're facing on a daily basis. With that, I'm thanking all our panelists. That's it from me. On the other side, the urban debate coming up on Mirror Now. Don't go anywhere.